Hello and welcome to AfriDominion. I am Freeman Singirankabo, and thank you so much for tuning in to our broadcast today. And for those of you guys joining us for the very first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so happy and thrilled for the opportunity to come and serve you today. And for those of you guys who haven't been with us lately, we'd love to give you a huge welcome again and letting you know to conversation. We are sons and daughters of Africa. We are here for the truth, love, and trust. And these are the benchmarks by which you can that every conversation we are going to have will be a part of that. And with that in mind, guys, I also want to let you know that we do not do anything in hiding. Everything we do it in the open. And we want to hear from you. We want you guys to be a part of the conversation. We want you to be a part of what we do together as sons and daughters of Africa. And with that reason, feel free to come in and check in with us. Feel free to visit and come in and hang out with us, guys. If you'd like to get in touch with us, go to our website, which is www.afridominion.com. www.afridominion.com. Our main email is info@afridominion.com. info@afridominion.com. And with that in mind, guys, I am so happy and excited for the opportunity to come and serve you again. It's been a while, guys. It's been a while since we haven't been reaching out directly to you all, mainly because we've been also busy. We've been busy setting up other things all over. We've been busy with life. We've been busy with trenches. We've been busy trying to reclaim our inheritance as sons and daughters. And with that in mind, guys, today we are back. And before I get started, let me not forget. Happy June, guys. Happy month of June. Happy new month of June, or happy seventh month of the year. Happy June. A happy Monday to you all, and every single one of you. To some of you guys, you might be already on Tuesday. In any case, happy June, guys. And so, what do we want to talk about today? As always, when we come here, we are here to impact. We are here to share what's on our heart, but we're just not here to share. We also want to take some strategies. We also want to take some action. It's important that we share information, we figure out how it impacts our lives, and we take action, possibly as one people, because it's very necessary. So today I want to talk to you about the time, the season and the time. Right now is the season, guys, and it is our time. And the topic of conversation wraps around the time is now, to do for selves what we have been conditioned to beg. We've always been conditioned to beg for several things, but now is the season, God. Now is the time to end the begging. Now is the time to do for selves what we have been literally conditioned to beg for many centuries. Now, my opening and my question to you becomes, are you ready? Are you ready? Now, I know that it is very difficult for most of you, oftentimes to accept the fact that as one people, there are certain things that you cannot do alone, that I cannot do alone. And because of those reasons, it's imperative that we learn how to work together. It's very imperative that we learn how to work together again. It's in our DNA. Naturally, we can work together, but we have a disease. We have a disease of me, myself, and I. This disease of me, myself, and I would never allow us to unify, to reunify as one people. I should say it like that. We've been one people before. We have been one people before. And eventually, we were separated through divide and conquer. We became several fragment of people. Whereas I live on this one little corner, you live on this one little corner, and somebody is on that little corner. And we are never to get together. We are never to communicate. We are never to collaborate. We are never to work as one people. So that season is now, my people. That season is now, family, for us to get together again, to reunify, despite what part of the world that you are located in. Especially, let me be frank, guys, brothers and sisters from the continent of Africa, or the descendants, the descendant of Africans. Why am I focusing on Africans and African descendants? Because we are completely marginalized globally. Now, we have allowed that to take place. We have allowed that to take place, guys. We can no longer attribute it to the imperialists. We can no longer attribute it to the colonizers. We also have a role, we have a part to play in it. And so, with that in mind, guys, I have a few things that I'd like to four main point that I believe that this season requires, that we literally take back charge of our lives, take back charge of our responsibilities. Let us not push our responsibilities to others, to foreigners specifically, to non-Africans specifically. Now, it may sound like I'm being discriminatory, but there's no discrimination when you are dying. Africa is a dying race based on the policies of the global community. Africa as a whole is a dying race. Surprisingly, Africans are one of the youngest humankind on planet Earth right now. We have the youngest population on Earth right now, yet we are dying faster. Why? Why are we dying faster? Because we've given up our inheritance. We have given up our will, our intent, and our powers to other forces. Oftentimes we call it imperialist forces, colonizers. I believe the time is now to recognize that will, that intent, that power. You have to take it back, and I've got to take it back. How are we going to do that, guys? Which leads me down to the main 4 point that I want to talk to you guys about. The biggest way, or one of the major element in order for us to take back that which is ours, to take back responsibility, to take back the control of our lives, we got to learn how to protect ourselves. It is incredible that Africa as a continent provides aid. Guys, I want to tell you guys that what I'm saying here, I'm not actually crazy, but I mean what I say. Just in case, for the record, Africa is used to receiving aid from foreigners in exchange of giving up its natural resources in all kinds of forms. Not only we give up our natural resources in all kinds of forms, we are forced to give it up because of bad policies, colonial policies, slavery policies. Africa is the only one people who no longer owns its natural resources, its means of protecting itself. Sons and daughters of Africa, you are scattered all around. We are scattered all around. We are forced to go in other countries for a better ways, for better life. Why? Because at home it is always unhospitable. If you cannot protect your own house, no wonder chaos will always be there. So there is a need for one Africa to protect ourselves. There is a need for Africans from east to west, north to south, to all forge one unity and protect ourselves. We've done it before, guys, as history has wrote it. And unfortunately, that history has been hidden. It has been hidden from us younger people. Our generation today has no clue as to what's been happening 100, 200, 300, 500, 1,000 years ago. It could be ignorance, fine. But when do you get to stop putting ignorance in front of you as a means to why you're not becoming that which you're supposed to be? So, how is Africa, how is sons and daughters or sons and daughters of Africa going to protect themselves? How can we protect ourselves uh, to live a quality life while in Africa? How can we protect ourselves from economic warfares? How can we protect ourselves from spiritual warfares? These warfares are real, guys. African people, African sons and daughters would not be leaving Africa if the opportunities, economic opportunities were there, if spiritual opportunities were there. Now, some of you may be wondering, what the hell am I talking about? If Africa is literally giving its natural resources to everybody else but herself for centuries, we're not talking about a few years from now, for centuries, and it still has more to give. If you look at the so-called major power nations globally, they are all right now in Africa looking for resources, African resources. These are the same powers that are keeping Africans from entering their homelands, from working with them. Africans are being given conditions to step outside of their homeland to these other nations. But when these nations are in Africa, they're not given any conditions whatsoever. Why? Because we have given up our will. We have given up our responsibilities as Africans to protect Africa, to protect that which is ours, our inheritance. And it is time, the season is now for us to reclaim all of that. Now, this protection has to be a unified protection. And I want to be more specific about it. There's no way that you are going to hear of a war in the DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, in Mozambique, or any one of these nations in Africa, in South Sudan, where warfare or wars has been a norm. Why do we have these wars right now? Where African blood, sons and daughters are dying every single day. Yet we do not manufacture weapons being utilized to kill ourselves. Understand what I'm saying, guys. We can assemble weapons, but we do not manufacture them ourselves. So we got to be able to learn how to protect ourselves, the entire African continent, cover every sons and daughter on the continent of Africa and the African descendants as well. But we got to start from Africa. And anywhere you have African people or African descendants residing today, we all need protection. Protection should not be a right. Protection should be a way of life. You are not doing me a favor protecting me from that which is destroying me. Now we have been told that it's a favor, it's a debt, which is why so many African nations right now, they owe exuberant amount of debt. I never understand how smaller countries, pick any small countries within Europe, can literally conquer the entire Africa and Africa become indebted to them. How did that happen, guys? And for some of you who do not know, slavery happened. African resources became everybody else's resources but African themselves. And that we have to stop. That we have to stop, guys. Our generation today, I believe that we have to stop utilizing our bad luck, utilizing our horrors, utilizing the past to justify our inability to take responsibilities of our today and tomorrow. It is true we have been enslaved for many years. It is true that we have also had a hand in it. Africans themselves did not all of a sudden find themselves in Europe, in the Americas, in Asia. Other brothers and sisters had a hand in it. Slavery isn't just from the West, isn't just from East, isn't just from North. So those who have been a part of slavery and those who are still taking part in slavery today, especially brothers and sisters, Africans, I believe the time is now to say HECK to the no. We can no longer allow slavery, guys. Yes, we may not have shackles, physical shackles, but we have mental shackles. If you cannot protect your mind from these mental shackles, we won't be able to seize our moment and our season. So we got to be able to protect ourselves holistically. If we have every natural resources that the planet Earth needs, for every need possible, why can we not protect ourselves? Be it creating our own arms instead of buying it from China, instead of buying from Russia, instead of buying from the US, the UK, France, Australians, and others who produce weapons and selling them to Africa. Why can we not do that ourselves today? Guys, we are naturally smart people as Black people. And this is not being racist. You don't need a degree for your genius to come out. The last time I checked, a mother who's pregnant with a baby does not need a degree to carry that baby for 9 months until the baby comes to terms and comes in fantastic conditions. That baby comes out beautifully made. It isn't until we started literally poking around mother's womb that we have all kinds of diseases, all kinds of infirmities that follows sons and daughters. We need to be able to protect ourselves, our kinds, at all times. This protection is in all sectors. We have to be able to hold accountable every single one of us, brothers and sisters, especially those violating our terms of lives. We got to take it back. The world is growing every single second, every single minute, every single hour in strength. The world is attempting as much as possible to hold Africans down, to keep you from becoming that which you have been predetermined to become. It may take a little longer, but eventually you and I am going to become that which I am supposed to be. We're not seeing nations, African nations, form one unity, like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. I feel excited. The same way New York, New Jersey, Delaware formed a unity. The same way the entire United States has formed a unity. Immediately trickle down to the protection of every single one of these states. That unity, guys, that which Africans right now, we have been pushed to stay disconnected from one another, to stay divided from one another. We have to unify. So I commend our brothers and sisters in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger, who are unifying themselves. Africans, we have to unify ourselves. We have to protect ourselves. We should be able, if we must create weapons, just like other nation on global on planet Earth, we gotta do that. You're the engineers. You've created before. We have created weapons before. When I say we, our ancestors, we didn't have to learn it from the Chinese. We didn't have to learn it from the United States because it never existed back then. In so many other nations, we knew how to protect ourselves before the conquerors came to Africa. We have to literally learn how to protect ourselves. And with that comes jobs, guys. Why should you run to the United States? Why should you run to Europe? Why should you run to Asia for a better life when you can have it in Africa? What are the impediments keeping you from becoming a successful young African at home without having to leave Africa? These are the policies, these wars, the so-called corruption. Corruption is a disease that can be uprooted out of every single one of us as Africans. If you can recognize that there is a corruption, you can also recognize who is causing corruption or the source of that corruption. We have to be bold, guys. Protect ourselves from these corrupted agents, these corrupted governments, these corrupted leaders. Protect ourselves from them. Then you won't have to swim going to Europe. You won't have to go to South America before you come to the United States. In some most perilous moments, some most perilous travel or journey one can have, most people die on their way for a better life. We need to have our own Statue of Liberty on the motherland. You don't have to be worried about immigration when you are back at home. When you are in Africa, any part of Africa should be for Africans. You shouldn't have to require a visa. Another brothers and sisters who wants to come in your nation, in your country. These are the policies that have been instilled in our minds to divide ourselves. We got to protect one another from the divisions that has pre-built in by the colonials, but we're also sustaining it. Colonials are not keeping us apart today. The systems that we have built or that we have received from the colonials have maintained that division. Borders are one of the biggest divisions that make sure that Africans stay divided all the time. We got to get rid of them and protect ourselves. Secondly, like I was saying, Africans, we give aid, but it's never called an aid. Guys, I'll give you an example. Pick a nation like the United Kingdom. As small as it is, how is it that it has so much gold, so much resources? It creates so much in terms of weapon, as an example. Yet they don't have any mines in UK. How are they able to do that for generations and generation and generations? Africa has a hand in it. An island nation colonizing the entire Africa for centuries. And the invisible colonization continues today. That season, that time is now to end that. We have to become producers of all that we need and not just consumers? How is it that if you want to buy some food, you have to get it imported from the United States? You have to get it imported from China. When African land is far more fertile than the Chinese land, than the American land, than the European land. Now, here's where it gets funny and tricky. African land is being taken into this cargo plane back to a lot of several nations. If you guys didn't know that, the fertile land is being cargo out of Africa to several countries. And Africa is receiving the byproduct. And oftentimes cheap byproduct. So we need to be able to produce, to be producers in all sectors. You cannot claim unemployment when you're not working, when you're just trying to go and have a job in the United States, have a job in France, have a job in UK, or outside of Africa, period. Africa has potential, unlimited potential. Let me put it that way. Africa has unlimited opportunity than any kind of opportunity that you will ever find in the United States. Africa has unlimited opportunity than any opportunity you will ever find in the United Kingdom. Africa has unlimited opportunity than any opportunity that you will ever find in France. Africa has unlimited opportunity than any amount of opportunity you will ever find in UK, in Germany, in China, in Japan, in Australia, any one of these nations that we have been so quickly dying, doing all that we can to arrive to. So we gotta become producers again, not just consumers. Now you cannot become a producer without knowing what to do. You have to know the basics of how to produce ABCD. Most of us, we do not want to get dirty. We want all the shiny and glitter things. We don't want to know how it became to be glitter. It became to be shiny. But that's where the secret is right now. Somebody has to take the time to forge an element. If you grab a tree, you can get a chair out of a tree. But a chair is not naturally the way you look at it. A chair came from a tree. Chairs can come from plastic. But you have to be able to have the basic understanding on how to derive a chair out of a tree. All the needs that we have, we can derive them from our natural resources. That's what all these nations are doing. Africa is being plundered every single day, every single hour, every single minute of its natural resources with a purpose to take it back to several nations, turn the raw material to product that can be consumed. And these products are being sent back to Africa and other countries. The joke is on us as Africans. The joke is literally on us as Africans. If we cannot receive a proper education, how will you know the basic on how to produce? I am not just talking about going to school to read and write. Guys, the education that you need to get the gifts out of yourself is not the kind of education that Harvard University offers. It's not the kind of education that Cambridge offers. Your gifts, in order for you to unlock it, you need to know the combination key of yourself. Study, learn thyself, learn who you are. Guys, I gave you an example. A mother needs no degree from the university to carry a baby to terms for 9 months. Yet laboratories still fail today to manufacture a baby, a child, out of a lab. They have been doing it, don't get me wrong. But a baby manufactured from a lab would never, never be the same as a baby who has been carried naturally in a mother's womb. I have never seen any government asking for a degree, a woman to carry a child, because that is beyond what the government can even ask you as a people. How dare do you base your life on a degree from any one of these so-called prestigious universities? That has been a means to keep you down. That has been a means to tell your brain that you are an idiot. Unless you get a degree from any one of the so-called prestigious university, you are no good to nothing. I've never seen a woman in the village having to go to Cambridge, having to go to NYC, having to go to MIT, having to go to any one of these so-called amazing prestigious university to learn how to conceive a baby. She was born with that ability inside. It's a natural gift that cannot be policed by anybody unless you surrender your will. There have been stories, there have been records of sterilizations. Guys, look in China. All of a sudden, the policy for having a fewer children has been lifted. Why? Because the population is dying. People have been put into fear of not having children to the degree they just stopped having children. As a nation, people are still having children, don't get me wrong, but as a nation, they're not producing enough children. So that ability to conceive a child, you don't need a degree for it. You were born with it. Imagine how many other gifts that you are born with, yet you cannot access because you have been preconditioned that unless you go to the Americas, unless you go to UK, to France, unless you go to China, unless you go to Japan, you cannot amount to anything. That's a lie from a pit of the hell, guys. And that season is now that we start realizing that we have everything that we need, including the education. It is all within ourselves, guys. Now, when you've been oppressed for so long, when you've been told that you are stupid for so long, it takes God, it takes a force bigger than yourself to turn that page that you've been stuck to. So I am here to remind you that all those mental shackles, all those invisible shackles, you have to get rid of them yourself. You are the key to getting rid of all those mental shackles. You are the key to getting rid of the spiritual shackles that we have and the physical shackles. Guys, we still have physical shackles in terms of borders, for example. We are kept as prisoners. We still have mental shackles in terms of policies. These so-called leaders are setting up policies that are meant to guarantee our failures as Africans. Why? Because they have to satisfy the colonizers, the imperialists, first and foremost. Guys, pay attention to what is happening in the United States right now. Mass deportations. Mass deportation. You may stone me, but I want you to understand, guys, if the brain power that's producing, that's helping the United States to become great, if it goes back to its native homeland, what becomes of the United States? Guys, you need to think about that. There's a reason why the United States is a safe haven, has been a safe haven for so long. Why can it be your homeland? Because of those instabilities, guys. Remember, without that protection, you won't have the peace of mind to use your mind. You won't have the opportunity to pull the gifts out of yourself. The natural gifts to make things on planet Earth. It is within us for. It is within us. It's been within ourselves. We are makers, we are producers. We are creators. But you cannot do any of that when you're dodging bullets every second. You cannot do any of that when you're fighting with someone with machetes. So that protection is prerequisite for you to be able to produce. And that education is prerequisite from being able to produce as well. You need that protection, you need that education, and then you need to go get busy. Information of our resources and what it does and how to do it. It's imperative. Guys, I believe in God. God is not stupid that it's going to give so much natural resource to the Congolese people and never give them the ability to use their natural resources to create things, to create product. God is not stupid that it's going to give South Africa gold mines of depth you cannot even imagine, only to lack the information to know what to do with it. God is now going to give cocoa to West African nations without the ability to transform cocoa out of all kinds of products that we utilize every single day. Our ancestors, who were the engineers, who knew how to convert all these raw material to products that we need, were killed. Check your history. Imagine all researchers that a nation has. All of a sudden, you just kill every single one of them. That ability to create, that ability to make the necessary tools that that nation needs dies. And that is unfortunately what has happened to Africa. Africa has had an ugly history, which is why the colonizers would never want you to study, to learn that history. It's up to you, it's up to me to learn that history, but to also understand that that history should never hold you from the past. It simply reminds you that who you are, who you're supposed to be, you have yet to experience because you have been living on the wrong side of story when it comes to your life. Kings and queens living like slaves. Just imagine. You have the ability to command things on earth, yet you've chosen to be a beggar. Why? Because you've seen your daddy, your mommy, your grandpa, your grandma, your ancestors begging, and you thought that that's what you are good for. Maybe because someone has whispered something in your ear for so long that you start believing it. Guys, the time is now that we reprogram our mindset. The time is now that we take back those responsibilities in our own hands. It is hard when you are used to me, myself, and I. It is hard when you are used to, I've been working 10 hours, I've been working 12 hours, I've been working 16 hours. I'm not going to shell with you since you've been on your butt for the last 8, 10 hours. These are the issues that sometimes maintain our division. Somebody's hustling at the expense of another. A brother is hustling on the left, another brother on the right is just sitting down and chilling. And of course, one of them is going to be angry. The animosity because of uneven thinking. If I'm conditioned to sit down and wait for Uncle P to give me something to eat, and I'm so used to you bringing me something to eat every single day, you never miss. And I am told you don't need any more but that. And your whole life you live like that. Will you ever become even curious of the gifts from within yourselves? Imagine if a bird to eat in its net to the degree it becomes even fatter in its net without having to fly away and go fetch for some food. Would it have ever known that it has flight in its wings? And these birds need not go to any degree, to any university to get any degrees for flight. These birds can literally fly. They don't need no permission from anybody. Flight, it's a gift given to the birds. Flight, it's so accurate that a bird doesn't collide with another bird. I've never heard of birds colliding with each other. But man-made airplanes collide so often. Flights, it's natural to birds. It's built in by the creator of these birds. So the gifts within every single one of us, the built-in gifts, these are the gifts that we have to bring out. These are the gifts that we have to nurture and know how to access them. These are the gifts that have been withheld. Or I should say, the knowledge of these gifts has been literally kept away from you because you have been told that you are no good to nothing. If you cannot be a bowler, you won't amount to anything. If you cannot be a driver, you cannot amount to anything. If you cannot be a chef, you cannot amount to anything. Nothing wrong with a chef, nothing wrong with a driver. We have so many other gifts ready to build our homelands. If some nations have already done, how do you think they came to do it? If that information was never there to begin with. There's no mystery on planet Earth, guys. There is no mystery to planet Earth. You just got to know where to look for. So if a woman doesn't have to read a manual to conceive a baby, to carry a baby, why do you need a manual to access your gifts? Why do you need to go to university? For some guy to say, hey, now I can authorize you. Now I can allow you to go do this and that. I am so angry with African government. Not one. There are several governments that literally have been keeping their own people from opening up their own gifts, from tapping into their own gifts from within to actually help to help lift Africans Guys, the season is now, the time is now that we change a lot of these policies that are literally contributing to our death as Africans. So what if you get deported? So what if you get deported? There are families that are literally, uh, I'm not being insensitive, by the way, because I know that when you have built a life in one homeland and all of a sudden you're being deported, your whole entire family is being deported, it'll take a whole lot to rebuild. Guys, when we were in Rwanda, when the war erupted back in 90, 91, 92, I remember our life becoming almost zero and rebuilding. I remember when we just didn't even have anything to eat, when we had it all before. But to at some point we didn't have anything to eat. But nature had it, and God knew that that wasn't the end of our story. At some point, that which you needed to eat, you found. All these things are temporarily, guys. That's all I'm trying to say to you. A lot of these nations that are literally pushing you out of them are not safe havens. There's a proverb, an African proverb that says that there's no place like home. No matter where you go, home is always going to be home. Guys, today if I become deported out of the United States, I'm pretty sure I'll go straight to Rwanda or any one of these African nations. And from there, nobody can dare deport me. Why? Because I'm in Rwanda. Nobody can come in and be like, you know what, from now on, you can no longer be here. Now, it so happened that because of, again, a lot of these shady policies, Rwandese people, African people have been scattering all around the globe. Wars, opportunities. There's so many reasons why we all have been ending up in other nations. To the degree we literally took adoptions from these other nations to pursue that better life. All knowingly that there's no better place like home, sweet home. When I say this publicly, some of you guys always say, hey, you shouldn't say this, you shouldn't say that. Why not, guys? Why not? If you hold a permanent resident and you happen to go outside of the United States and something happens, do you know that you also get to have issues coming back? If you have a visa and you get out, that instances where you have problems coming back in. Now, I will submit to you that if we literally wipe out the cause of every single one of these families, every single one of our brothers and sisters wanting to leave Africa, wanting to leave the homeland, to go elsewhere, if we literally remove those conditions, nobody will want to leave Africa. Why would you want to leave Africa only to be found somewhere that you are not welcomed? We have literally given up our will, our intent, and our purpose to live life as kings and queens. So we got to take that back. We have to take that back. Understand me. I'm not saying that you gotta take back being a president. You were never a president to begin with, but you have been a king. You have been a queen. We've been kings and queens. You have the ability to rule, to control, to master that which is right underneath you. You have the ability to commend things unseen, but that knowledge is forbidden to some of you. And that knowledge has been literally buried so that you never get to know that you are that powerful. You live with an engineer who behaves like nobody. You live with a medicine man and woman who doesn't practice medicine. You live with a healer who does not know that he or she can heal. But you can feel it, but you don't want to act on it. So we got to get rid of these policies that are pushing us down. You have nations that are so crazy, are going nuts, asking for all kinds of licenses. You need a license to do this, you need a license to do that, you need a license to do this, you need a license to do that, for all kinds of reasons. You do not need a license to be that which you are naturally born with. Even though another human being will say to you, you need a license so that he or she control you. There are so many ways of keeping you controlled, under control. And we've got to be able to pinpoint these ways and uproot them out of ourselves, out of our communities, out of our nations. So, guys, I want to put it to you that what we need as Africans, we cannot get it from the United States. What we need as Africans, we cannot get it from France, from UK, from China, from Russia. What we need, we already have. It so happened that the United States, the French, the Russians, the Chinese already took a peek of that information. They've been holding that information a little longer than you have. The information was taken. You still have the same information. It's in your DNA. It's inside of you. You don't need to go to Cambridge, guys. You don't need to go to MIT. You have so many families lamenting that their children are being deported from schools in the United States, out of the United States. Guys, it's like literally crazy where they say, for example, like the Chinese are being chased away. A lot of these policies, you have to get to understand why all of a sudden these policies are there right now. Why are they keeping all these people away now? Do you mean to tell me that you can never amount to anything if you don't go to school in the United States, for example? An inventor does not need a university to invent. When your gift is ready, the gift within you is ready, you bring it out. Just like a tree with a fruit. When that fruit is ready, you cannot chase it right back inside of a tree itself. That's how things are right now, guys. But I know we are not used to that. We are not used to knowing that we are fruitful beings. You have been created with fruit inside of you. Nurture your fruit. Nurture yourself. Water yourself. Protect yourself until you mature enough to yield the fruits. These fruits are called them gifts. The gifts within you are fruit, just like a tree has a fruit. When it's ready, when it reaches its term to produce fruits, don't die with the gifts within you. Don't die with the fruits within you. Africa needs its sons and daughters to mature to the degree where you can literally give up your fruits for others to enjoy. The time is now where we can actually give out our gifts, those who have gifts that are ready in all sectors that we need. We should not be begging. We should not be begging any nation on planet Earth. We have been conditioned to beg. We have been told that begging is right for you because you are just an African. You are so accustomed to being belittled, to being looked down to, that you yourself can't even believe that you can contribute something greater than anybody has ever seen on this planet Earth. So I come to you to say, enough is enough. The season is now. The time is now for you to water yourself, for you to fertilize yourself, to protect yourself, grow yourself, germinate to the degree that those fruits will be able to show. We can do it, guys. It's in you. You don't need a degree for that. You do not need a degree for your gifts to come outside of you. But you need the knowledge, the understanding on bringing it out of you. You need the discipline to take care of yourself so that that which is hidden within you can come out. There are specific steps that we have to take in order for our gifts to come out. If you do not take those steps, the gifts will slip indefinitely. Just like a woman has to meet a man, they have to sleep together. An egg has to meet a sperm so that the woman has the opportunity now to tell the body, hey, take over from now. Now my egg has been fertilized. Let's go to work. There are those specific conditions that must happen in order for every single one of us to literally activate the gifts outside of us. Do you know what those specific steps are? And if you do not know what those specific steps are, Cambridge University is not going to tell you that. NYC won't tell you that. MIT won't tell you that. It is you who have to humble yourself enough to bring it out. And that brings me to where I want to close it, saying that these next 6 months, guys, are going to be critical to some of us. We must not be afraid to live our lives. We only have one life to live. Do not live in fear. Do not live begging. Do not live asking for opportunities here and there. Stand tall, guys. Stand tall. Know who you are. Know where you came from. Know what you are about. Know what your gifts are. And become that which you're supposed to become. There's not a single university that's going to teach you that. I can tell you up front. Universities will mold you to become something that isn't supposed to be you. University will mold you to become something with those books, because those books do the essence of you. A bird learning how to swim will have a hard time reading the swimming book because swimming isn't part of the bird. Yet, somehow, if you convince that bird to learn how to swim, it is going to have a hard time swimming. It may even swim, don't get me wrong. But the energy, learn how to swim. The time wasted trying to go and learn how to swim. What do you say about that? That's what's been happening to most of us today. We studying things that have nothing to do with who we are. Imagine you go and you learn how to be a pilot when you're supposed to be a medical doctor. You go and you learn how to be a soldier when you're supposed to be a chef. You go and you learn how to teach a person something that you have no knowledge of, instead of you becoming your true self. Imagine you go and collect all kinds of degrees in those prestigious schools only to amount to nothing. You are being taught how to be a good slave, a good obedient slave. You are not taught how to be a producer. Case in point, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, it is said that they have so much water that can literally turn into electricity to turn on the entire Africa continent and other nations. Think about it. In the Democratic Republic of the Congo, there's enough water to be utilized to turn into electricity, to light up the entire Africa and beyond. Yet you have so many villages without electricity in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, as one of the nations I'm taking as an example. The entire Africa still is in its development stages. When we've been kings and queens, when we've been inventors, when we've done all of this before, but we were destroyed. We were taken as slaves to go build other homelands. So I believe the time is now to literally do that for selves. Don't look at another brother who's in the West and see him different and see her different just because you're from the East. Don't glimpse somebody who's in the North and believe that they are not together with you because you are in the South. We've got to unify, guys. We've got to reunify ourselves. You don't need to go to Silicon Valley in the United States and California. You can create Silicon Valley in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. You don't have to go to UK to buy the best gold. To access the best gold, you can find it in South Africa, mines, gold mines. You do not need to get the best coffee, the best cocoa from any one of these prestigious stores in the US or Europe. Just go to West Africa, to Ghana, or any one of these nations that have the best cocoa, the best tea, the best coffee. Rwandan coffee is one of the best coffees, like the Southern American coffees. Yet Rwandese people cannot drink the Rwandan coffee. There's a policy to take all that coffee and go sell it outside of Rwanda for better money, when sons and daughters within Rwanda cannot have access to it. These are slavery mindset policies. The change is vast, guys. So many things we have to do to change. So many things that we have to do to change. But we got to start from somewhere. So I want to end this broadcast by telling every single one of you, brothers and sisters, Africans, if you have a gift, that you've already identified that you have a gift and you need a hand in any capacity, reach out to all of us so we can help you become that which you're supposed to become. If you don't know what your gift is, submit yourself to those very specific steps to learn who you are as a person. Because tomorrow we are going to need you. Since you won't have access to MIT anymore, since you won't have access to Beijing anymore, tomorrow the same gifts you thought you got from Cambridge, you can literally bring it out right where you are in your village. We need to produce the tools that we need to develop ourselves as Africans. They've been talking about industrialization in Africa. And unfortunately, we are still talking about assembly. So get this, guys. This is where I'm going to end this conversation. A lot of colonizers and those who have been so thirsty and hungry for African resources started realizing that there's so much noise that is being made about countries taking from Africa raw materials only to come back and sell it back to them. So instead of now taking the raw material to the respective nations, they're coming to our homelands and setting up these shops. If it's a manufacturer for whatever, instead of being in the United States, it's being brought to Africa right after they have an agreement. And they're taking the raw material from your backyard, create that which they really need, and then take it back home. There's no difference in that. Now you're being given a job to assemble. To assemble. Guys, understand that assembly is not production. Africans are thriving themselves, are literally bragging about themselves because they're assembling tools. Assembly is not manufacturing, guys. Assembly is not producing. You are simply putting together that which has already been created, designed, made by somebody else. So yes, you can take pride in assembly, but why can't you take pride in creating? Why can't you take pride in literally coming up with those tools yourselves? They said that, oh, it's a progress. Now we've got all these manufacturers here. Africa still has no manufacturer for a lot of basic needs that it needs. We have manufacturers where we are working there to assemble, but the knowledge to create those things, it is still hidden because that knowledge has been made exclusive for all non-Africans only. Tell me why today you have the Congolese as a nation in dark when it can literally light up the entire Africa. Why is it that they have to literally beg for billions and billions and billions of money to build a few dams to generate electricity, when you have a lot of these African engineers who can literally come together and create the electric grid that can power the entire Africa? We got to start being greedy. We got to start looking at ourselves. The whole me, myself, and I policy has to literally be on the side for Africans, guys. Call it what you want to call it. Some of them may call it communist, others may call it whatever, socialist. Guys, just like my body has many parts that are working together, Africans, we have to work together. I'm telling you, this arm would not be working if it wasn't for my brain. And without this arm, the brain has nothing to do. But also without my heart, I cannot move this arm because the blood won't go in and out. Without my lungs, these hands won't work because the oxygen. There is power in unity. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Somebody from the north, and you from the south, and me from the east, and the other guy from the west. Don't look at yourself as just one. We need one another to reclaim our own inheritance. We need one another to regain our seats, our rightful seats. All these natural resources from Africa has to stop. I said it. You cannot afford Africa to feed everybody else by yourselves. A lot of these agreements, a lot of these bilateral and multilateral agreements between nations have to be reviewed. Guys, there's one thing that I completely detest today: secret agreements. If a government leader, if the so-called leaders are going to have hidden agreements with another nation, why are they becoming hidden agreements? In whose interest are you hiding those agreements if they're not supposed to literally benefit the people? African nations have so many hidden agendas, hidden agreements that have been pre-signed by these colonial masters to keep Africans in chains. If need to be, we should start from scratch and examine every single policy, every single rule and regulation in the books to see if it benefits Africans, and Africans first and foremost. Because if it cannot, if it does not, if it will not benefit Africans, why do you have them why do you have them in the books? Why are you enforcing them? So this is what I'm gonna end it with you all, saying that in your own right, in your own small way or big ways, please reacquaint with yourself. If you've never done it before, this is the time. Reacquaint yourself. There's something boiling inside of you that keeps on bothering you. Those are the gifts that are old within you, but they cannot come out because you have never allowed them to come out. Get busy. Get busy, guys, learning how to bring your gifts out. Get busy learning who you are that you have never met before. You could be comfortable living a good life, flying instead of swimming, and you call yourself successful. If you're supposed to swim naturally, but you had to go to school for flight, spend all that money learning how to become that which you were never supposed to become, how can you call yourself successful? So my wish for you and my blessing to every single one of you is that you learn who you are and you aspire to become that which you're supposed to be. Aspire to bring out the gifts out of you. Your natural gifts, your natural fruit, aspire to bring it out. Aspire to be disciplined enough. Aspire to be patient enough to become that which you're supposed to be. So with that in mind, guys, I want to cut it short. And I want to say it's great to be back. The trenches are rough, guys. The trenches of life, the trenches of rulership and leadership are not easy. We are fighting to reclaim ourselves as kings and queens. This is not a fight that we joke with, guys. And this is not a fight that is done overnight. Don't be despaired. Don't be tired. There's so much to do, and it cannot be done in all one place. So I want to thank all of you who have been a part of this fight. I want to thank all of you who have been a part of this journey, for being humble, for being patient, for opening you doors, opening you resources, granting us the privilege to be with you guys, to access your resources. But now and forever, I am asking you more to be far more open now. Open from the brothers from east and sisters from east to the west, from north to south. Be open. Reopen yourselves, guys, in truth, in love, and in trust. We need to unify as one people. We need to unify, to reunify as one people, I should say. We need to protect ourselves. Without protection, we won't be able to get anywhere else. We need to protect ourselves. We need to educate ourselves. We need to produce instead of becoming the consumers only. And we need to learn how to manage all the resources that we have. If we can do all these four things, in any way you see fit, changes will be happening that you can actually measure yourself. So it is my desire, and it is also my privilege, that I say to you, I'm right here, I'm right open in saying that I cannot wait for the opportunity to see every single one of you becoming that which is supposed to be. I am longing for the occasion to see you becoming your true self. It's sweet, it's great, it's amazing. But you gotta taste it for you to believe it. So, guys, you have been created. We are supposed to be. We are indeed kings and queens of this planet. We are kings and queens of Africa. Let us start. Let us start to behave. Let us start behaving as such. Know the seasons and the times that we are in, and assume the responsibility instead of pushing it like we have been accustomed to. So, with that in mind, guys, it's a privilege to be here again. I'm excited to have the this opportunity to be with you guys. We are going to literally reopen our broadcasts in several places, um, mostly openly, but we also have been working really hard to build a closed platforms as well, right, where you can learn, right, where you can tap into that which is yours, so that you can literally not have an excuse of never having known. Understand what I'm saying, guys. The season is now and the time is now where you need to bring the best universities, as they say, back at home. They belonged at home. Now we need to materialize them at home. You shouldn't have to go sell your land. You shouldn't have to go sell your birthright to go to school, to learn something that isn't even you. We should have people in our lives to help us unlock the secrets of the gifts within ourselves. These are the gifts, after all, because the very few amongst ourselves, they already know how to tap into these gifts, but they're using for the riches of themselves and not the community. So we got to turn the page around. We got to rewrite the policies. Let us not see the Congolese people begging when they are kings and queens on planet Earth. Let us not see the resources being taken out of Congo at the expense of every single lives of these brothers and sisters. There's so much that we can do for ourselves, that we are not able to do because of the policies that we have in place, because of the so-called leaders who are working on behalf of the colonizers, who are working on behalf of the masters. The time is now, the season is now to put an end to all of that, guys. By the way, that is now going to come without any fight, without any friction. So make no mistake about it. A colonizer will not allow you to have your freedom without you fighting for it. But there's a beauty in all these things that are happening. As much as you are being deported, as much as you are being pushed out, learn how to also seal yourselves. Learn how to hold your own resources. I commend countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Specifically in Burkina Faso, did you know that it is now illegal to export its natural resources? Its natural resource has been nationalized. In other words, all that they need that were being exported, they're using it themselves first. If you want to turn any one of these natural resources into a product, it has to be done within the boundaries of that nation. The whole entire Africa needs that. The whole entire Africa needs that. Because when that happens, guys, kiss goodbye the so-called unemployment, kiss goodbye the so-called poverty amongst ourselves, kiss goodbye the desire to fight for that visa to go to UK, to fight for that visa to come to America, to fight for that visa to go to beg to come to France, to beg to go to UK, to beg to go to Germany, to beg to go to any one of these countries in the European nations in Asia that are not necessarily say welcome to our nations. Guys, there will be a time that Americans will be begging for visas to come to Africa. Mark my words. Right now, America is deporting a lot of people, including African people. There will be a time Americans will be seeking for a visa to come to Africa as one nation. Listen to what I'm saying, guys. There will be a time that American citizens will be asking for visas to enter several countries within Africa. It's already happening, but now there will be a time where they will be also begging. I hope we don't arrive to the time where we actually deport, because we have more than enough as Africans. We have to be able to be better managers. We have to be able to be a good steward of the inheritance that we have within Africa. We can feed the whole entire Africa and the rest of the world, but we have to do it responsibly. And that responsibility, it's sorely on our shoulders. But we have to reclaim it back, not as slaves, but as kings and queens. So that means you gotta literally become sharp again. Don't waste any time. Learn who you are. Learn your gifts from within. Utilize them so you can be able to be helpful. Just like all my body parts work together. The entire Africa as a continent has to work together for the better of humankind. The entire Africa has to work together for a child in Senegal, a child in Nairobi, a child in Cairo, a child in Pretoria to sleep a quiet night. We all have to work together to eradicate this hunger amongst ourselves. Physical hunger, spiritual hunger, and mental hunger that we have. We got to unlock it. The pipes are there. You just got to unlock the pipes. And let Mother Nature does the rest. And God directs your steps. So, with that in mind, guys, my time is up. It's been such an amazing time to be back with you all. I did not say hello to a whole lot of you guys deliberately. I missed you guys. I wanted to jump right in it because I felt like I was full. So I see you, those of you guys who had said hello after such a long time. I am so privileged to be here with you guys. I'm so happy for the opportunity to serve you. I'm so happy that we spend all this time with you guys. I know it's a lot to take in, but the time is not that we have to literally remember ourselves. Remember that if you don't do for selves, nobody else is gonna do for you. If you don't stop begging and do for selves, you are going to be told that you amount to nothing for life. And that's not a story that I've seen for you. That's not a story that I know of myself. I know I'm a king and I know you're a queen. I know that we can rule. We have a mandate to rule over birds in the air, fishes in the sky, natural resources within the earth itself. We have to learn how to manage them, keep the order, create the order where there is chaos, and leave them better than we have found them. But we must not rule over one another. In fact, we are prohibited from ruling one another, which is why slavery has been by far one of the diseases that we have to get rid of amongst ourselves. Start from within to our families, to our communities, to our nations, and outside of the entire Africa. So, with that in mind, guys, thank you so very much for this opportunity to serve you. I want to give you a welcome to literally come and take that journey together in truth and in love and in trust. This is our season. This is our time. We are going to get there one way or the other. The same way a pregnant woman has to bring that baby in due time. You cannot reverse the pregnancy of a woman. You cannot reverse our kings and queenships. We are here, guys, to take back that which is ours, our inheritance, and the responsibility to do it all for selves and then for others. With that in mind, guys, I am Freeman Singirankabo here at AfriDominion. Allow me to wish you a super fantastic days. God be with you guys. God direct your steps and be safe. We love you all. Until next time, have yourself a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow.